Since I've officially been a children's author for a year now, let's talk about my 5 favorite kids' books of all time. Crazy how much your perspective changes once you become a parent. You start thinking to yourself, yeah, maybe I should cut back on the beer. Or, maybe I don't need to watch this trashy reality show. Or even, yeah, maybe it was kind of a turd back in the day. Sorry, Mom. But you also start to gain an appreciation for the quality kids' products out there versus the garbage.
Just like this garden has all kinds of vegetables.
Screw that guy. When it comes to kids' books, it's a real ocean of mediocrity out there, which makes the ones that have stood the test of time even that much more impressive and why they're worth talking about. So without further ado, here are my 5 all-time favorite kids' books, why I think they're so great, and why they stand out above the rest. So at number 5, I got The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fairly Stupid Tales, John Chiszka, illustrated by Lane Smith. Now, for those of you in Gen Z, you might not be able to understand how this was able to capture the zeitgeist so well, but the early 90s was a kind of a gnarly time for us kids. We're talking daily fantasies of often Barney on the playground. Within a month of the 2nd grade, completely turned my back on the Ninja Turtles. What do you expect? I was 7 years old. I ain't got time for that juvenile crap, except Turtles in Time was still legit. So thank God nobody saw my Super Mario Brothers underwear.
You can get beat up for wearing something like that.
And I'm not even going to mention the Christmas songs we sang about our teachers. And if you lived in that period, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Joy to the World, the teachers.
Oh my God.
No, not going there. So when this came out, it was counterculture. Rebellion against the fairy tales of old. It was our stand against the machine. Something we could freely read without getting pounded on after school or getting made fun of. So naturally, it became a hit. And at one point, I even entered a speech contest where he retold the story of the Stinky Cheese Man by heart. And I'm not going to lie, I did pretty good. Only to get beat out by my buddy Cavan's rendition of Dirty Dan by Shel Silverstein. But hey, credit to where credit's due. He crushed it and brought home the gold to our school. So Cavan, if you're out there, no hard feelings, we're good. Number 4, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, illustrated by Lois Illert. One of the most underappreciated qualities in a kid's book is the cadence. And there's a lot of books out there that rhyme, but they just come off as clumsy and awkward, and what they're lacking is the cadence. But this book, this has cadence. It's just such a natural and easy read. Just A told B and B told C. I'll meet you at the top of the coconut tree. Chicka chicka boom boom. Will there be enough from here comes H up the coconut tree. So you see, it has that natural flow that makes it just a fun and easy read for everybody. Also worth noting is the bright and bold color scheme where everything's very contrasting, very colorful, very reminiscent of that fun 90s style, which is near and dear to my heart. Number 3, Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown and Clement Hurd. I mean, talk about something that makes you feel warm inside. This to me is the ultimate bedtime storybook. And the Great Green Room has such a serene and secure feeling to it. It's almost as if in those few moments you're reading this book, the troubles and dangers of the outside world completely disappear. And I can't think of another book that leaves you with the amount of peace that Goodnight Moon does. It's a book you truly wish would never end, which is why I think it's become one of the most beloved and revered children's books of all time. In the number 2 spot, I got a book that goes a little under the radar by an author who I think is a little underappreciated in the kids book world, and that's The Mysteries of Harrisburg by Chris Van Allsburg. The guy's most known for Jumanji and The Polar Express, obviously both classics, no doubt, but this one still fascinates me just as much as it did 30 years ago when my dad brought it home for me for the first time. And it's what he doesn't say that makes it so intriguing, because there is no actual story, but it's just this collection of weird, eerie images with maybe a line or two to lead you in, and then it's up to you to figure out the rest. So let's check a couple of these out. You got this house blasting off into space, this creepy woman about to carve into a glowing pumpkin, this cruise ship smashing its way through Venice, this nun on a flying chair, which apparently one of the chairs ends up in France. One of my personal favorites, you got this tiny mysterious door in the bottom of the cellar, and they start seeing the doorknob turn like there's some weird creature that's living in there. Each picture has this spooky / exciting element to it that sparks the imagination and fills you with wonder. So I guess a couple years back, some famous authors got together and actually completed the stories associated with this book, which I haven't read. And to be honest, I don't know if I want to because I feel like it would spoil the fun of the original. But regardless if you decide to read that or not, I would highly recommend The Mysteries of Harrisburg by Chris Van Allsburg. In the top spot, I got a real game changer in the kids book industry. A book that people say is the greatest book since the Bible. Something that everybody's reading and you got to read too. And that's The Significance of a Birthday by by Zachary Michael Andrews, which, wait, what? That's me. Who would have guessed? So apparently I'm being told it's pretty lame to put your own book at #1, so sorry guys. Still available on Amazon.com, link in the description below. For my actual #1, I have One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by Dr. Seuss. And you know I had to throw in a Dr. Seuss book in here somewhere. Reading this wasn't just a bedtime story, it was an event we called play practice. Why play practice? Well, apparently I had a hard time differentiating my L's from my R's, something a lot of people have trouble with.
I'm so...
Not even going there. Anyway, during play practice, we'd take the imagination of Dr. Seuss up to a whole new level by actually acting out the scenes of the book. We'd all jump on my dad's back and he'd bump us around like he was a giant camel. Here we'd crawl in bed and stick our head and our feet out like this goofy dude. My sisters got to drink some ink and comb some hair. My dad got to be the Gox and I'd get to box my Gox. I'd always try to create a 7-finger hand. And this was always my favorite part. We'd go outside in the middle of the night, dressed in our PJs, start tiptoeing around the house like we were these sleepwalking sheep. Can't imagine what the neighbors thought. So no doubt, one of the reasons why this is #1 for me is just the sheer memories I had reading this as a kid. But also, I think what contributed to that is Dr. Seuss's ability to capture the imagination of a child through his stories and through his illustrations. And I think he was able to do that better than anybody else, which made him the greatest of all time, in my opinion. So even though I've made the case that these are my top 5 favorite kids' books, and that there's concrete elements that made these stories great, in reality, a favorite book is something personal to you and shaped by the experiences you've had in your life. So if you have a favorite book that you think I missed, let me know in the comment section and I would love to talk about it. Until then, like, subscribe, check out one of my books on Amazon, and God bless.